Hello, Earthians, and welcome to the show. It's so nice to see you all here. I'm Aeon, the lead community manager of Eartha, and today is an exciting day. We're launching Eartha Beta version 0.2, which will introduce characters into the Eartha Metaverse and more. Joining me, of course, is Game Master Linus. Linus, how are you feeling today?
Well, hi everyone, and hey Aeon. I'm feeling very excited for today's beta version 0.2 update, and it's going to introduce quite a lot of new features, and I can't wait to see the community's reaction to it.
Wonderful. So, alright, before we begin, let me introduce the schedule of today's broadcast. Firstly, we'll discuss the key features of this upcoming update, and we will also talk about what we're working on behind the scenes when it comes to development. Then, we'll jump straight into the Eartha Beta, where Linus is going to walk you through and showcase the update. After we show the main features, we'll start an AMA where all of you will be able to ask questions right here in the Twitch chat, and we'll select a few to answer your most common concerns. And finally, at the end of the stream, we're giving away a $700 NFT hex to a random viewer, so make sure to stay tuned till the very end. And the update will, of course, launch right after the broadcast ends, together with the patch notes, where finally all of you will be able to become true Earthians. Alright, so Linus, let's get the show on the road. How excited are you about this update? Do you already have an idea of how your character is going to look like in the Eartha Metaverse?
Yeah, I'm super excited about today's event, and I haven't even decided yet on what my character will look like, but we'll see, today. But, I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone else's characters as well. So, what will yours be, Aeon?
Well, actually, I think our viewers were already able to see my character, because the screenshots on Twitter and on most of our socials, that was actually my character, the look I'm kind of going for. So I'm kind of mixing up my internet persona, where there's the white-haired icon of my Discord channel, for example, and I'm trying to also incorporate some of my real-life features in there, So yeah, once character customization really takes off, it's going to be awesome to see all Earthians just express themselves inside the metaverse by creating their characters, customizing their characters, and creating so many different things that will be available to them. So, alright, let's talk about development. So what exactly are we adding in this update? Maybe some people haven't followed us super closely, and maybe we need to remind them what's coming and what to expect in Eartha Beta version 0.2.
Yeah, so the main idea of this update is to introduce the characters inside our game. So we will have our character creation screen, which allows to, customize a lot of stuff that you can with characters, which includes the view how the character looks. It includes also the character stats, which will also be very important inside Eartha's game in the future. You will be able to select its skills, abilities like strengths and weaknesses, and all other things of character customization.
Yeah.
And I think it's your thing to talk about the work that we're doing behind the scenes on the Eartha's client version instead of the WebGL that we have right now. So what do you think of it?
Okay, so I'm actually super excited for the upcoming Eartha client. So the Eartha client won't be available with this update yet, but we're really trying our best to make it available for the nearest updates. Maybe not the nearest one, but it's going to be released in quite the near future. So the thing about the Eartha client is we really take the idea of Eartha, and it allows us to incorporate all of these other awesome things that we haven't really thought about when Linus first started thinking about how the game should work and should look. So the Eartha client will not only provide a more performance experience, meaning the better performance version of the Eartha game. It can also provide better graphics. It can also provide better mechanics, or maybe mechanics that just couldn't work on the web version. So I've been playing the Eartha client, the early build of it, for like a few hours now. Honestly, I've been exploring all the bits and pieces of the demo hex. The graphics are already miles better than what we've shown before, and actually, as a teaser, this is exactly what we are going to be showing to you guys today. So we'll be showing not the web version of Eartha Beta version 0.2, but the client version. So all of you will be not only be able to see the current update, but what's coming in the future as well. And just as a teaser, we've also improved the web version in the graphics department as well. So look forward to that. That's going to be pretty cool. So, Linus, what does the client mean to you personally? Like, what features are you exactly looking forward to the most that the client could provide? Because for me, it's really the visual experience, the graphical experience of Eartha, and the upcoming multiplayer that's going to be sometime during the summer.
You know, when first I had the idea of Eartha, it was a game that should not be, well, very big on graphics. And the fact that we now, with the team that we have, we can actually improve the way you see yourself in Eartha, and it actually becomes a metaverse which you can, well, live in.
Exactly,
to see your character there, to see it, to see the world through his eyes, and to experience everything that is happening to him from that. The client really enables us to have that with much less lag, much less much better graphics. We are also working really a lot to bring those graphics as much as possible to the web version. There are quite a lot of things we can optimize while doing that. We are working on all the buildings that we have, on all the meshes that they have. They do have a lower polygon amount than usually is used in games, but we are taking it to the next step to have ability to add various different shaders inside, so that the shadows that the light that is around Eartha generates would be much better, than previously we could do with the first versions that we released. So yeah. And all the things that we are working now is including connecting the stuff that we had on Eartha.com. So one of the most important things that I want everyone who is experiencing Eartha at the moment to be able to do is to actually develop their character. So we are working on an ability to increase character skills, and so we will introduce a new module that we are calling the University module, which will allow players to be able to use the play to learn aspect of our game to learn while playing, while developing their character skills in various different subsets of skills that we will enable inside the game.
Exactly, and well, the client for me is it's really going to bring Eartha to the next level, right? Because first and foremost, Eartha is a strategy game, and there's no such in-depth and complicated strategy game in the crypto space at all. So saying that we're also improving the visual experience and being players will be able to actually meet each other on their hexes eventually when multiplayer is released, and do that in an awesome graphical experience. That's really, well, nobody's doing that basically. This is really the next level for GameFi, for crypto gaming, and Eartha is really being the pioneer, because I can tell you personally, the client is awesome. I'm really looking forward to it finally being released to our Earthians, and yeah, that's pretty much gonna come in quite the near future. And of course, we'll provide more information as the weeks go by. So let's circle back to character customization. So you mentioned stats, abilities, skills, but I really want to put an emphasis on how in depth those things are. Could you maybe talk about how much we've been working on about the math behind the scenes and things like that?
Yeah. So, I really want Eartha to be as close to real life as possible without making it too complex. And we are trying different things. We had a lot of stuff already built on Eartha.com. Now we are taking all the math that we had behind it, all the quizzes that we have, and all the information, the stats that character has. We are reusing it and essentially re-looking at the information that we had before and making some changes that are required to actually have a way to build the play to earn type of game here, so that it wouldn't be very let's say complex in source, because the way we did it before, we did it without the crypto part, and now we can have the ability to rethink, redo stuff, and there's a lot of depth inside it. So each character has its own stats, which includes like strength, dexterity, intelligence, and even stuff like its basic speed, the way he can run, its basic lift, how many items he can carry is dependent on his strength. And all of his skills are interlinked with the abilities that he can do. So when we will eventually launch our fight module, which will include the wars inside the game, we will have skills that represent that. So for example, you will have, let's say, pistols skill, which will mean that if you are able to use a weapon inside your hand or not. And if you don't have that skill, well, it's like you're a person who is first time seeing a weapon inside his hands and maybe even doesn't even know how to use it. But eventually you can make your skill as high as so that you would be able to use it like in the Matrix or stuff like that, in a really experienced way. And all of these are included inside the various things that you do inside the game. So we are building it block by block, and we're doing it to make it seem really familiar, so that you wouldn't need to learn a lot of stuff. It would make sense because we are all living inside Earth, and we are in some specific way living inside a metaverse already, so we are bringing a metaverse inside a metaverse experience, and we just don't want people to be too far away from what they have now here.
Yeah, for sure. And well, talking about the character stats and abilities, I've personally created like I think up to 15 characters by this point, just testing the various things. And guys, the system is so in depth. Like there's so many things you can do. You can reduce your strength, you can increase your strength. Let's say you want to reduce your strength because you want to be more intelligent, have more points in intelligence. There's so many variations, and we're just gonna show off them in depth once we actually start the showcase. So let's move on to further updates. Let's discuss well, a key point that people want to know is landowner hexes, of course, about when will they be able to see their own hexes. So I'm not sure if we can put an exact time frame of that about that, but maybe you can provide some insight about what's going on behind the scenes when it comes to landowner hexes.
Yeah, we're working on that as a priority. We know that a lot of our landowners are really eager to see their own hexes and to use them, utilize them to be able to earn money, and this is our priority to give them ability to do that. Either way, we want to do it in a way so that it would work and it would not like be easy to collapse, since all of these economy models have to be tested thoroughly to actually apply inside blockchain space. And what we're working on is to be able to for the landowners to give them ability to create their own hex. There will be two parts in it. One where we will give let's say items to landowners so that they could potentially build their own hex. So by items I mean like buildings, like even skyscrapers, or like companies, or even little buildings, like stores of like bread or stuff like that, and they will be able to build it inside a predefined space that we are building to be looking as close as possible to the Earth as it is right now. So if you have your hex inside an area that has like mountains around, you will be able to see that hex to have that. And if you have a hex inside of the ocean, so yeah, you will see water there. So either way, you will be able to build something on there, either on platforms that you will firstly need to build on the water or on the land itself. But yeah, so we want the landowners to have the flexibility to build it. And well, for those that maybe don't have time for that or don't really know what would be the like basic scenario, we are also implementing an ability to auto assign those buildings inside a semi-automated city creator. So these two stats, probably we will release the ability to create it by yourself firstly before giving an automated version of that. But either way, those who really want to dive deep in it will be able to do that, and those who just want to be part of it but without spending too much time in it will have an ability to do that also.
Yeah, for sure. And is it still the plan to kind of roll out the landowner hexes in batches? So let's say the water hexes and like the forest land hexes get released first, and then the cities that might need a little bit more time to make them more unique or things like that, they can come last. Is that still the plan?
Yeah, releasing all the hexes that are out there has a specific disadvantage, because we, even though we have a big team of the developers and testers here, having testing each and every hex is really time consuming. And what we are thinking to do is to give the community ability to first test it out in batches, so that the landowners would be the first ones to see their own hexes, and they could report us maybe if there would be any problems in their hexes, or if anything they would have like suggestions that we could implement in the future. So just so that we wouldn't have a big amount of messages like throwing at us, and doing that in a way so that we wouldn't be able to answer all of them at all time. We want to do it in batches, and we want to have the things that we release quite good, and with a quality stamp that we try to do here in Eartha.
All right, wonderful. So I think that covers the most important topics about what we're introducing today, about what we're working on, and about landowner hexes. So should we just head straight into the update showcase? What do you think?
So.
Are you ready? All right,
let's go.
All right, so just before we head into the update showcase, let me remind everyone that the update will launch right after this broadcast concludes, and make sure to stay tuned, because at the end of the stream, we're giving away a $700 NFT hex to a random viewer right at the end of the stream. So make sure to stay tuned to the very end. All right, and before we head in straight to the Eartha beta, let's just start a short intermission, and we'll be right back after the break. And here we go, Earthians. We're going to jump straight into the Eartha character creation, which is one of the main features we've added to the game. It's super in-depth, and Linus will explain it much better than I can. So, Linus, it's your time to shine. Take it away with the update showcase, and you're seeing the Eartha client right here on your screens.
Yeah, so thanks, Aeon. Well, what you're seeing now here is the Eartha client that we're beta testing at the moment. So we'll use it to create our character. So let's go to the character creation screen here. And what you see here is exactly all the things that we can customize inside the screen. So the first things we need to do is to select our gender. We have two genders here. You have to enter your name. I'll just use my nickname to do that. And let's go over the country. So you can select your own country. In this version, it doesn't do much because we have only one hex available. But when we release the game, your country selection will be really important. So this would be the hex where you will be able to start your game at. Right, so we have a character. It is really optimized to work well inside any environment such as WebGL, which is the least performant of all possible scenarios. What you see here is able to run inside mobile, inside desktop environments, and inside the browser itself. So yeah, let's go to the next step. This is the step where we can choose our appearance. We have a body skin color, haircut, hair color, and other stuff. And yeah, let's jump a bit back. I will want to create a man for myself. And let's now continue. So yeah, first the things that we can do is to match our haircut. We have several haircuts available. These haircuts will be the ones that we will start now, but we will definitely be able to add more and more, and some of them might even be premium, while others will be, let's say, common or free. And yeah, let me check what I want to have. I think this one will fit well. We can have hair color, we can have a beard available here, we can have hats, accessories, shirts, and other stuff available. So let me just see what we can bring so that I would really like my character that I have here. So yeah, I want to have some good shirt here. Let's bring some shorts. Probably these will fit. It will also enable me to have, like full tactical environments, such as, these, which potentially look like I'm inside a war or something like that. Let's see, maybe this, right? And but yeah, that's not how I want to look while I start my game. So let's use something a bit not as military for starters. You can also have a backpack or not. It currently does not affect anything how much you can carry around with you, but later on these all items will be NFTs, which will provide you different things that you can do inside your game. So just to recap what you are seeing here, you have your own character, which has an avatar. This avatar is automatically generated. It looks a bit funny at the moment, but you will be able to add your own images there, or even NFT images which represent you as a person. We have energy and health information here, which will be really important when we release the game, because the energy is the most scarce resource inside our game, and you will have from 16 to 24 energy points inside the game, and I will tell you a bit more why there's a difference here, and not everyone will have the same amount of energy. We will have health, which will be like hit points representing what kind of damage have you endured while you're playing the game, and we have some narrow HP fields, which are you will be able to read those explanations in the web version also. But essentially this means that your character health, if it drops below this part, it means that you will be, let's say, crouching. You will not be able to do some stuff inside the game, and you will need to heal first before going and doing any other exercises, such as studying, working, or stuff like that. So this is important metric to look inside when you will be in game later on, when we will have more stuff to do inside the game. And we have basic abilities here. So we have strength, dexterity, intelligence, and health. These are the core stats of the player. These mean it means that these abilities, the core abilities, will not be able to be modified after you create your character. So these do mean a lot here. And out of these 4 abilities, you have secondary abilities available, such as basic speed, basic lift, will, or perception, which are counted off these core abilities. So let's jump into the next screen where I can modify them. So yeah, to create the character, I have 24 character ability points available for me. These ability points allow me to customize my character in a way so that not everyone would be the same, right? But everyone will start from these like 10 basic primary abilities and with 24 ability points. So you all have equal ability to create your character, but depending on what you will want to reach when you play the game, you will need to get your own strategy here, and some things are needed for, let's say, warriors, some other things are needed for businessmen, and different things are needed for, let's say, our scientists inside the game, and there will be much more that you can do inside it anyways. So yeah, we have our primary stats. Something that I would potentially be looking at, and I can instantly say that you can have some more ability points than you have right now by simply removing from the 10 primary stats here. So it gives you more action points to start with, but that means that your primary skills will have, well, less than average. So yeah, what I would potentially do, I really like to be fast inside the game, so dexterity plays a big importance. I like to be intelligent also. And, well, there's also secondary abilities which I can increase here. I will not do that right now, since I want to have some points to show you in the next screen. So let's go to the next screen. Here we see strengths at the top. At the bottom we see weaknesses, and we will see some skills that are available to do. So the main differences between strength and weaknesses are that these are your, let's say, things that you are born with. So you cannot really change them easily. So something like, let's say, lightning move, which allows you to run twice as fast than you should, is something that you will, let's say, be born with, and you cannot like improve that a lot, or let's say have that gone from you. So weaknesses are the things that allow you to get more points to essentially get disadvantage with other players while increasing something that you want to be good at. So for example, I could select that I'm easy to kill, which means that I will potentially die even when I reach these points, and we will be able to talk about death later on. It's not as bad as it sounds, you know, but yeah, that gives me additional 5 action points that I can use to, for example, get that lightning move that I want to have, right? So yeah, this is how you create your character. What I would potentially do is to, well, maybe have some nightmares, you know, once in a while or stuff like that. It would give me additional 3 action points, and it would mean that sometimes my energy resistance will not be as good as others, which means, well, essentially that I don't always sleep as good as in other nights, so my energy does not repair itself as well on each day. So for example, I could have like 5 days without nightmares, but the 6th day I would have, and I wouldn't have like 16 energy points that I would have if I would sleep well. So yeah, there is a lot of things you can do here, but keep in mind that these are selected when you create your character and are not modified later on. However, we have that skills block, which is essentially the thing that you will be able to work on while you play the game. So we have various skills available here, and by the way, I didn't say this is not the full list that we will have. either way. This is the things that we will start with. We will need to implement all of those to actually have interconnection with all the different things that we are developing in the game right now. But it will have a bigger list when we release the version 1.0, right? So yeah, we have skills that are available now. Science skills are the ones that you use while you, let's say, extract materials out of the resource hexes that you have, or you build items out of those resources. So each of those are used inside different companies, and having a high skill means you will be able to get a better wage, and you will make more with using less energy. So for example, 1 energy point, which means like 1 hour in real life, represents so that if you are good at, let's say, math, if you have a math problem and you are good at math, you can solve it quite quickly, right? But if you are like really bad at math, and if you have a math problem, how many hours you have to spend while solving a simple problem is much higher than the one that is good at math. So essentially, by increasing, for example, your hacking skill, and by the way, you can either buy it or sell it. All of these skills cost you 2 action points, and it gives you, let's say, a basic stat of what that skill represents. So, oh, by the way, this is a client version that I have it. It's not the latest version that you will see after the after our broadcast. So some of the stuff that I'm showing might be broken yet, but it will be fixed when you see the game. So anyways, what I would potentially start with is if I will want to be a businessman, I will potentially need to earn some money. So I would potentially use some of these action points to have starting skills here. So something like mining, cutting, which would allow me to use my energy to make some money to eventually create my own company, and that would eventually allow me to employ other people, make more, let's say, items out of that, sell them in the market, and make more money. So, yeah. So yeah, that's about what I wanted to show you here. You will be able, for this version, for the 0.2 version, we will allow you to recreate the character as many times as you wish. So you will be able to create a character, see if it's a good plan for you or not. Obviously, not all of these stuff that we're showing will be available to test out inside version 0.2, but you will be able to see the full list, to get back to it anytime you can, and to, make your own strategy on what you will do when we release the full game. So yeah, let me have something for start. So I potentially would want to heal. I would potentially want to have some of these skills for the start. Maybe one of extracting and one of creating stuff. So like chemistry and engineering, right? This is not required for you to do. Anyways, if you start the game it also shows me, depending on my abilities, spending 2 action points inside a skill gives me a different level of it. So for example, if my IQ would be higher, let's actually do that to show you how it works. If I would potentially have like IQ higher than it is right now, and I would take a skill like chemistry on, it would potentially give me a higher level than it did before. So this has a formula inside, which depends. Some skills depend on dexterity, some skills depend on intelligence, some skills depend on something like perception or strength. So we will, when we finish out this entirely, we will add all this information to the white paper so that you could, read it and plan it out. But for the early adopters that you are all here, this is the thing that you can, try and play with. So yeah, let's jump into a different version of it. Let me pick up some skills here. Extracting, maybe chemistry, maybe engineering. And let's complete my character. Well, when completing my character, your character will be saved inside the game. So depending on which email you logged in and which wallet you include inside the game, it will be logged to that wallet and that email. And yeah, let's see how the game looks like with a bit different shaders that we worked quite a lot over the last few weeks. So yeah, Norbert, tell me, did I forget something from our character view?
No, I think everything's perfectly fine. You detailed pretty much everything there is to do. What I really like is that there are so many combinations in the character creation that really every single Earthian will be somewhat different. That they are going to be able to create the skills, add the skills that they really want, and there's just so many different things you can do that it's really going to make for an amazing experience when it comes to the game. And inside the game currently you can see that we do have new shaders and a new lighting system, new skyboxes and things like that, so the game looks much more awesome than it already did before. And Linus, as for the main thing, are you going to show it off right now?
Yeah, probably let's do that. If you would look at the left part of the screen, it shows an ability to switch view with the mouse or
sorry, just to interrupt, our broadcast screen is kind of a little bit cut off. The UI is a little bit cut off. So
okay, so anyways, by using my Q letter inside the keyboard, I am able to switch my view. So it allows me to see my character running here in real time, while I browse through the Eartha experience. So yeah, this is the thing that we are really excited about. This is the thing that we were working on for the past few weeks, is to be able to actually have the full metaverse experience inside Eartha's game, which means that you will see your character, you will be able to interact with stuff, you will be able to, let's say, jump on buildings, do stuff, run around, and learn while playing Eartha game. So yeah. What we can see here, Norbert, I can browse through the screen and you can comment it a bit.
Yeah, for sure. So from what you can see is, if Linus gets close to a building here, these edges and things like windows, things like corners, especially trees, really do have different shaders. They look so much more, they have so much more detail and look so much more in depth. And well, we've also been talking about another improvement that we might add in the near future. It's called the bump map. Right, so these flat plains that you're seeing currently, like flat plains of grass or flat parts of the trees or buildings, they're gonna receives a texture that's not really a texture, but it's your GPU working to make the building and the ground look much more immersive. So, but as you can already see, we have completely different lighting on the character. It basically renders the shadows in real time. So if you get, for example, behind a pole and it blocks out the sun, now your character is basically in the shadow, which wasn't a feature we had before. And when the sun moves, the shadows really do go around buildings. So it's really a much more beautiful, much more immersive experience. And for example, we also have the walk animation, which Linus is showing off right now. We have the jumping animations, we have the idle animations, and well, as you can expect, we will have much more of these coming in the further updates. But this is just the very first look, and the much more incredible, in my opinion, graphic experience. When you think about it, again, Eartha is a strategy game. It wasn't even planned to have any sort of decent graphics right from the start. So having this is really quite awesome. So yeah, basically, I've been playing this for a few hours myself, just running around exploring. And once the client comes out, I'm sure, and actually, part of this graphical experience will be available in the browser version that we are releasing right after the broadcast concludes. So you're all going to be able to check it out for yourself. But keep in mind that the web version is still quite a lot more limited, and especially with this update, we're going to be working on optimization for the next week or so, since we need to optimize a few things to make this work incredibly well on the web browser. But as you can see, the client is having no issues at all running this. This isn't like a supercomputer or anything. This is just a regular MacBook. So yeah, once this gets released, I'm sure we'll have some amazing things to show, because I've just been running around taking screenshots and posting them, leaking them on Twitter and to various channels. So yeah, basically I'm super excited about this.
Indeed. So since you all will be able to see our web version working, I do recommend you not to go to the to this area of our city. Because these buildings here are not yet optimized to work well on web version. They have like a lot of meshes inside them. Like they have all the let's say floors there, and when the lightning hits them, it creates a lot of shadows that the WebGL version just can't handle. So to have a good experience, I recommend you to go somewhere around where you have less buildings and potentially even better ones, like in this area, which has like cool buildings around. So this is a good way to explore and see, the hex by yourself, and all these modern or like villa buildings built here. So yeah, we will be working to optimize it for the web version, and I'm sure that we will be able to show you some cool stuff in the future. And yes, indeed, Norbert already told you that we are working on the texture side of the game, which includes like bump maps and stuff like that. It's potentially, from our tests, does not use that much of graphical power, and even possibly the web version will be able to run with it. So we just want to, while we're working on the graphical department of this game, we want to have it at par with other games that are out there, or even better in some cases. And then when we add all of the logical things like economy, the companies, the stock markets, and item markets inside the game, it will be a much wider experience than whenever else you can find it.
Yeah, and this area of the map especially looks awesome. Like, I don't know what it is about these like wooden buildings, but it really just pops out on the screen. Especially, guys, you're seeing it through the stream, and once you see it in real life on an actual good quality screen, it's like actually amazing. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's like an actually beautiful style. At least for me, I love the low poly style. And actually, let's mention something we've talked about before. Character detail. So the characters you're seeing now may become a little bit more detailed in the future. So for example, their faces and things like that. So the upper left corner of the character creation screen, where you were able to see the generated icon of the character, that's obviously going to be improved. That's just the very first iteration of it, but since we've already had all the math and logic behind character creation done, and this awesome graphical update, we've decided to, of course, launch the update instead of just doing it more to improve the exact like poly style of the characters. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say basically. And actually, I'm seeing some questions in chat. So Linus, what do you think? Should we just take some of those and try to answer them while you still walk around the hex and just showcase the various things?
Let's do that.
All right, perfect. So the first question comes from Carlos, and they say, I need a better computer. Can you give me a configuration that can handle the game? So actually, I can answer this somewhat. I don't think the Eartha client actually requires a good computer at all, since my work MacBook Air, which has the M1 chip, which isn't that powerful to run games at all. It doesn't even have a GPU. It's just integrated graphical experience. It runs this perfectly smooth at 60 FPS, no matter where I go, no matter what I do. It's just a perfectly smooth 60 FPS experience with no stutters. So I honestly do not imagine you're going to need any sort of strong computer to play the game. Like, what do you think, Linus?
Oh yeah, indeed. The WebGL version that we have here is the most limited platform out there. I do really want to keep it still on WebGL because it allows people not to download the client and to be able to play it. This is the way to reach a lot of players that would be not in crypto market as it is now. So I do believe that it's a good way to have a game working on WebGL, but it does provide some limitations where even on a good computer, it might seem that the game, is lagging or cannot process stuff that we throw at it. But it's not the computer, it's actually the browser that is limiting the computer to use only one core of the processor and a very limited amount of RAM for it. So, when we release the build, the client version that we have here, I'm sure that almost any recent computer will be able to run that without any problem. Even those that are 7 to 10 years old should not have much problems running it. But yeah, and also about some questions that I see a good question inside the chat, which one person is asking, isn't the game already built for 9 years? So I'd really like to answer that. The idea of Eartha for me has, I had it 9 years ago, and it doesn't mean that I could use all my time or I could use all my resources to actually build it on. For the last 8 years, I've built Eartha out of entirely my own and my brother's money by investing almost everything I have into it. And it was possibly combined more than $2 million, investment before we even went to crypto. And that included nothing that you see here now. It included all the stuff that we built for the companies, for the way that our play to learn part of the game works. We built the alpha version that you can see on the ERTHA.com, and it was built there. We've been working on it on and off, depending on how many resources we had. But after we've raised money in this round with crypto, we were able to essentially get into building it correctly the way it should be built. We were able to gather a world-class team of experts who can help us do that, and I'm really happy that we can do that, since you can see none of this that we are showing was there half a year ago, and it's all done in these months with the experience that we had before, and with the stuff, the funds that are helping us to achieve all of this.
Exactly. And just before the next question, could we also show off some interiors? I think on the right side of the map where there's warehouses and companies, we've actually added some never seen before interiors. I'm not sure if the last update included them or not. I think this building, you're hovering on, I think that's a new, that's a new interior. So maybe just, go into the first person view and the third person view character of how it actually looks inside of an interior, because I think it looks awesome. Like everything is just so much more detailed than the web version. And also in the web version, you can kind of see some artifacts, whether it be outside of the city or inside. Some items clipped together. That is not at all the case in the client. In the client, it's perfectly smooth. Everything looks perfect. The items really just shine and pop out. So basically, yeah. The interiors that we've added and the experience of the interiors inside the client is just so much more awesome than before. So all right, so let me ask the next question from Chad. El Maurice wants to know, do you still think it's realistic to release the final game at the start of 2023, even with all of this complexity?
All of the complexity that added to the game is all the visual stuff that we're trying to build here. A lot of stuff that I'm showing here with the character abilities and the way it is created, it was thought of several years before now, and we have all the math behind it. So it's just case of having enough time to implement already thought of stuff. So we are also going through all the docs, through all the Excel spreadsheets that we have, through all the numbers that we've crunched over the years, and we are adding it all into a complex multiverse. And by multiverse, I mean the ability for metaverses to interact with each other, since we have our partners, the Moon, which will launch not that far away, which will include, a life inside a moon. So it will have ability to travel between Earth and Moon, and in that way. So we need to make sure everything is made so that it wouldn't produce like critical errors. So yeah, I do think that end of the year we will have potentially most of the functionality that we talk here already done. Obviously, this type of game is like never-ending development. We can add more and more stuff, and we are passionate to do that. We are gamers ourselves. I really do want to create a game that I would love to play myself, and that's what I'm doing. All the resources I have, all the help that we are getting from you guys, from all the investors that we have, from advisors that we have, is used to build, a game that we would all love to play. So, yeah.
All right, and so just before these last few questions, because it's already nearly 1 p.m. UTC, so the update will really be going out shortly. I want to remind everyone that you can win a $700 NFT LAN hex, and the way to enter the giveaway is to type !NFT hex in the chat. Once you do that, you're in the giveaway, and we'll pull the winner right at the end of the stream. And so we'll give you guys a few minutes to type that in. And then we'll answer a few more questions. So the next question is, will you be able to, maybe we need to clarify this because we've talked about it a little bit before, but just to clarify. So will you be able to change skills often, or will it cost anything to change your skills, or is it a one-time thing? And I assume they mean abilities as well, skills, abilities, basically
Yes.
Remake your character.
So before we implement further stuff, which I've talked about, something like university, which would potentially mean that you could change your skills while you play the game, we will keep the ability for you to always recreate your character from scratch. So you will have a button here, which means that it will delete your current character, and you will be able to, I don't know if you can see it on the screen or not, but anyways, it's on the top right corner of the screen, and you will be able to create the character from the start. So, it is a possibility, you can do that, and you will be able to always, see what fits the most, what you want to experience inside the game. So for example, now I can create somebody who has a different persona. Let's look like how a military guy would look inside the game. And probably, let's put this one. Yeah. It's also possible to continue the game without spending any of this. So, at the moment you are free to roam around it to check how it's created. And you don't need to, let's say, think too much about it, but you need to create your strategy. Because after we release the other update that is coming up with the university part of the game, we will lock the ability to recreate your character then. So it means that you will only be able to increase your skills by then. And just to be sure, all of you who are playing the beta version of the game will also receive a special item when we release the 1.0 version, like the full game of Eartha. You will receive an item which will allow you for one time to again recreate the character and set the skills like everyone could while they register on the full game. So that will be given to you as our first, let's say, first creators who led us to build Eartha to the way it will be built over years. So, by the way, you will not be required to use it, and it will be an NFT item, so it could potentially be also quite valuable inside the game. So, just a little gift from us.
All right, wonderful. And so for the very last question, there's a good question from Mikba. I hope I'm saying that correctly. They want to know, with enough time and money, will it be possible to learn all skills, or is there a limit for each person?
With enough time and money, it's possible to learn all skills. However, learning skills at higher and higher levels exponentially starts to be really, really hard to do that. So to learn all the skills of your character for like it would take you years to do that. So I would potentially recommend you to find your type of character. Either you want to be yourself inside the metaverse, or someone that you aspire to be, or someone that you could potentially want to be like meme character or something like that. So it would be better for you to fix on something on several parts that you develop on your character. That would mean that you will be good at something. Because if you start to develop all the skills at once, you will be like average at everything. So, it's not always the best strategy, but it's also a strategy that you can try to do.
All right, wonderful. So we have 93 entries, and I think it's time to wrap up the AMA and wrap up the stream, because I'm sure our community is just dying to get into the game and check out the update for themselves and create their own characters. So we have 93 updates. The last call to type !NFT hex in the chat, and we're gonna pull the winner in 3, in 2, 1, and the winner is announced in the chat. Tresla Bress. Again, I'm probably not saying that correctly at all, but congratulations to you, sir or ma'am. And we're gonna contact you via Twitch DMs in the next few days. Well, it's actually the weekend is coming up, so we'll contact you on Monday. So make sure, stay tuned to your Twitch DMs. Make sure they're not disabled or anything. You'll get a DM from Eartha_game, which is our Twitch channel. So once again, guys, make sure to follow our Twitch channel. Join our community at discord.gg/Eartha. Follow us at twitter.com/EarthaGame. And Luna, so do you have any final thoughts to conclude the stream before we launch the update?
Well, I'm happy that we are working each week to get it to a better version and a better version, and we will keep doing that each week. And I'm sure that I'm the first person who knew that I'm going to do this game, so I'm the most eager to see it going live to, the version 1.0. But let's keep here, let's do work on it, and I'm sure that we will get there sooner rather than later. So yeah.
All right, wonderful. And so, guys, make sure to stay tuned to our socials, because that's where the patch notes will be going out in just in basically the next few minutes. And yeah, you're going to be able to read exactly what's new and what has been fixed or changed or updated in this update. So. All right, guys, make sure to follow us on all of our socials, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great morning, day, or night, wherever you are located, and see you next time. This is the Eartha Metaverse, signing out.